So I think we're at that point where we want to talk about season 2 and predictions, and we have a couple of comments. We can definitely see them here in the chat. One of the comments from Yotis Phil.
Yo, it's Phil.
It's Phil. No, I like mine better. Yotis Phil. Do you think for season 2, do you think this show continues this storyline, or do you think it's an American horror story type where it will be based on a different Lovecraft book? And then we actually had somebody respond there, More Medics, which is Matt Rife, who is the author of the Lovecraft Country book. He was on For All Nerds podcast last month and said he had already given showrunner Misha Green a rough draft of a sequel to the book.
Nice.
Boom,
boom, boom.
Now, well, that doesn't really answer. I guess the main question here is, and this is for everyone on the pod here, do we think a season 2 is going to keep these same characters, follow along what's happening, or do you think it's going to go with a new set of group of individuals in this universe?
I think it's going to keep at least some of them because it's already set up things to explore, right? We've already mentioned Montrose becoming, being a grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
Diana has a robot arm now. That's a whole new set of
Plus she's
powers
a
and abilities and a pet monster that I think I would love to see her explore. Not to mention, that curse might still live inside of her, right? Like, we don't know exactly. Or did they completely...
No, they pulled the curse out of her in Magic Land.
That's right. They did, didn't they?
Yes.
But still, there's that. Hippolyta is, still around. I'd love to see what she
Can she get to Super Saiyan level 5?
Can she get to Super Saiyan 5? Yeah. Absolutely. Ultra Instinct. White people no longer have magic. That's got to be consequences,
and there's
right?
still people in the order.
How's the world going to look?
Yeah. How's the world? And there's still there's people in the order now who have presumably lost their powers.
Yes.
What does that look like? What's their retribution going to be? What spells or what lengths are they going to go to get their power back? Because nobody wants to lose power. That's just human nature.
Also, the line of Titus is with the deaths of Christina and Tick, and before the birth now of Tick's unborn son George, no one is alive right now in that bloodline that we know of before the child is born. So what ramifications does that have, right? If Titus is the originator of magic,
right, or of that order,
right?
Yeah, who knows? Magic, and again, there's so much about magic we don't even
right.
know.
Because also Jiha is a type of magic as well, which is
magic.
and then obviously Hippolyta with her Super Saiyan powers.
Science.
It's another, you could argue, yes, another type of magic, which is science.
Yeah. Well, I think this show has done a good job. Even though it's called magic, it's presented very much as a technology. Technology being there's a set of rules, and if you repeat the same actions over and over again, you get a measurable, consistent result.
Right.
Which is really just it's a type of science. It's a type of technology, which is great. So it means that you have these different, not necessarily competing, but these different ways that technology, magic, these systems are portrayed in the show. And I know we've already said we've only just scratched the surface. It does feel very much like the first year at Hogwarts, right? You're just learning this stuff. So
another comment here in the chat from Sahara, not Sarah. I want to see a time jump to this decade's current political and racial climate.
Yeah, that would be.
I think that would be
wild.
That'd be interesting. I mean, Watchmen did obviously a really good job of jumping to a future outside of the original, book, which was done in the 80s.
Yeah,
it would be fascinating to see, to see what Tick saw when he went to the future and saw his son grown up. Do we get then obviously all of the current actors and actresses in old people makeup?
Yeah, to answer the question, I think it's both. I think it's anthological in terms of it's still set in the same universe, and there will be some of the same characters. And I think that character is going to be George. I think it's going to be the son.
Oh,
and
right.
I think the second season, if I had to make a bold, crazy prediction, is going to follow him as a young man or an adult. And like you said, I think you're going to get some recasts or some actors in older makeup. Maybe Letty as an older woman. Maybe
Diana. I want to see.
Diana grown up. Right, exactly.
I would love to see a spin-off with Diana and just her and her pet and her robot arm
her pet.
fighting
Well,
crime.
yeah.
Right.
or
Well,
something.
if you're into imagery,
Right.
right?
Hippolyta too.
Right.
Yep,
If you're into
I would
imagery,
love to see Hippolyta's 220 years of travel. That would be incredible to
right.
to get a taste of. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Absolutely.
and if you're into if you're into imagery and what it means, right? The final shot of the show of season 1 is Diana,
Yeah.
right? Which to me,
Yeah.
if you're into reading what that means that the show, if there's season 2, is about her, because the show ends with her. It ends with her with the Beast, the Protector. She is now the protector
Well, that
of
would
this
make
family.
me very, very
And
happy.
so that to me, if there's a jump, it's Diana as an adult and young George.
Nice.
And
I can get behind
and
it.
protecting young George. That makes sense.
I get behind
Here's to kind of play devil's advocate. Watchmen was another series where it was the flip flop, in terms of this next season's on, next season's not on. What happens, did this season wrap in such a way where you as a viewer and a fan of the season can say, okay, I've got what I wanted, I'm okay, the story is complete?
I wouldn't say it was a flip flop because Lindelof, like Damon Lindelof, the creator of the show, came out at the end of the show and was like, "There is no more seasons to tell."
Right,
He was very
right.
definitive, like, "Nope, I'm good. HBO can do another season if they want to." He left it in their corner, and then they said, like, "Nope, we're good. We'll always keep the candle open if he ever changes his mind, but we're good keeping it as this one season." Misha Green did a lot of post-show interviews after the finale on Sunday and said they have talked about a season 2 and subsequent season and arcs for it to go for. But she carefully said that it has not been greenlit yet, right? So I would say this show currently, it's the recording of this podcast on October, 20th?
Yep.
October 20th, Tuesday evening, has not been renewed. So it's in HBO's court right now if they want to renew it or not.
Bilbo Baggins.
But I think to answer your point, if there is no season 2, I'm okay with how the show ended.
Yeah.
Because it did wrap up most of the major arcs. It did wrap up the story it told in season 1.
Yeah.
Season 2 would be, new characters or some of the same characters in kind of a new situation.
Nice. So I think we're in a wait and see mode.